Participate with his ankle and Achilles. Andre Roberts did not participate with his knee. Trenton Robinson did not participate with his hamstring. Perry Riley is going to have surgery on his foot, his fifth metatarsal, and he'll be out for 3 to 6 weeks. Limited was Deshaun Goldson, knee, hamstring, wrist. Hatcher was limited with his knee, lumbar, finger. Everett, hamstring. Keenan Robinson, shoulder. And Chris Thompson, shoulder. Everybody else is full.
Jay, obviously kind of an obvious question, but how big of a blow is that for your defense to lose Perry, especially when he had just kind of turned the corner and was playing so well?
Yeah, he was playing well, very well. The last 2 weeks he's been outstanding for us and playing with a lot of confidence, and it's a big loss. You know, hopefully, obviously Compton and maybe get Keenan back, hopefully. Obviously, Mason Foster have to step up, and we might have to bring somebody else up from the practice squad. We'll have to wait and see.
If Keenan isn't ready to go, Mason would be that guy, you think, at this point?
Is it for Riley? Do you know?
I think it's his right foot. I think it's right foot, yeah.
And what's your level of optimism about Keenan? Or are you preparing as if Mason will start and then figure out after
We're
that?
preparing if Mason will start. If Keenan can go, we'll see from there. But Keenan hasn't done a lot of practice. He's been involved a little bit on a limited basis the last few weeks. But we'll have to wait and see how he feels tomorrow and go from there.
From Mason in the weeks that he's been here now?
Well, I think Mason's he's done a good job in the time that he's been here. And had a lot of reps on game day, but out at practice he's got a lot of reps. And he knows the defense, and he's a veteran guy and a physical guy. And I think he'll step in and do fine.
Is your expectation that Dunbar will be able to play?
Yeah, I think so. You know, that's the plan right now, and he's been out there covering a little bit, and he's got his finger protected, but it's a finger. He should be all right.
What for a guy switching the way he has in a short period of time from one position to another and seeing minutes now at cornerback, what was the most difficult part, do you think, of that transition from one spot to the other?
I think playing man-to-man, bump and run man is pretty easy. Not easy, but it's a lot more comforting to a defensive back. But learning the zones and where to play and the leverage and the in and out coverages and all the nuances and some of the run fits and tackling, obviously, is the biggest challenge. You don't know until you put them out there on game day. We don't do any live tackling out here, but that's the biggest concern. But he's handled everything pretty well. You know, the mental part of it, learning the defense, and then obviously the tackling. But he's done a good job.
Deshaun Jackson's impact. What have you seen just as the more he's played? Has it increased each game, do you feel? We've seen the big catches, but are there other things that you notice defense is doing against him that have started to open up other things for other people?
Well, I think after he scored the first touchdown against the Giants, and you can see their safeties backing up a little bit. That's about it, really. You know, they're still going to play their man-to-man coverages. They might cheat the safety a little bit to them. Might get some cover, too, if it's in the team's system that week. But I think defenses are going to play their defenses. I'm sure they're aware they are. They might play a different technique with them, maybe off a little bit more, or try to jam them at the line of scrimmage. I think it's all player-dependent, team-dependent. And we'll see how Dallas plays them with Claiborne and go from there. But, every week, every team's going to have a different challenge for us. It's up to Kirk to read it and Deshaun to beat it.
With Preston and Trent splitting reps on that one side, what do you think you've gotten out of them this season? How do you think individually as players they've progressed?
Well, I think they are progressing. They're still obviously in the progression stage in their career. They're very young, and they're still developing in the weight room and as men. And, it's great to have them here. You like to have big, long athletes in your building at a young age because they can develop in your weight room and in your program. And they have talent. You can see each of them have shown flashes of it. But now it's just a matter of being a little bit more consistent with their get-offs and their pass rushes. Both of them play the run fairly well, which is good. And that's a very important part. You know, everybody looks at the sack numbers, but there's a lot of plays that they make in the running game that go unnoticed sometimes, whether it's setting the edge and forcing it back to the big fellas or the linebackers. But both of them, I think, are coming along at a good rate. We expect a lot out of them. They're playing a very important positions for us. It's a run-stopping position, and on third down, it's a position where we need the pressure, and they're still working on that.
Jay, earlier in the season, you would say how the running game was designed to take some of the pressure off Kirk and not put him in situations that he wasn't comfortable in. But how do you feel that he's evolved and handled the offense, especially in those weeks where the running game wasn't there?
Kirk? Well, I think he's done good, obviously, and we'd love to have the balance of the running game because that does take the pressure off the quarterback, but sometimes a team takes away the run and forces it to throw, or sometimes it's score dependent. We get behind and we have to come back, and we're battling not only against the opposing defense but against the clock, and we have to try to get chunks of yards, and that makes it a lot more difficult for a young quarterback. But overall, I think he's handled each situation pretty well, man, and he's learning from all of them. And like I said before, playing quarterback in the NFL, it's a week-to-week deal, man. Every week you're going to get something different. You're going to see something different. You're going to have new route concepts. You're going to have new coverages, a different type of pass rush, a different blitz pattern. And it's how he adjusts on a week-to-week basis and how he handles himself is what will determine him from a long-time standpoint. But I love the way he's coming along. I love the way he competes, the way he studies, and the way he works.
What's your view of how the secondary has held up and performed despite a whole bunch of position changes and injuries you've had to deal with, and how do you feel it?
Yeah, it's been a challenge. And Perry and Joe Barry have done an excellent job of catering the game plan to what they have available, and it's been somebody different. Like I said before, Kaishan's played safety and nickel, and D. Hall's played safety. He's played corner. Breland's played nickel. He's played corner. Blackman's played corner, nickel. I mean, they've been all over the place. And we've had different safeties starting. Trenton Robinson started. JJ started. D. Gold started, obviously. So it makes it a lot easier for a coordinator to call defenses when you know exactly, the defensive backs know exactly their zones and where they're supposed to be. And I think we're to a point now in the season where we feel good about the corners. We feel good about the safeties. We feel good about the nickel and all that stuff, so we can be a little bit more diverse in what we do. But overall, with all the change, I think the coach has done a great job, and the players have done an excellent job of adjusting their game to the position they have to play.
Jay, did you see a little bit more of kind of the old Alfred dragging some guys along with him, a little bit different cuts, maybe a little more sharper pressing the hole, that type of thing last Sunday as opposed to maybe all year?
Yeah, he looked a little more decisive, and that was the second game where he really closed out the game. We got a couple big runs there in the fourth quarter. We got the ball 4:51 to go in the game, and the Giants had made a serious push to cut it to 6, and it was the most important drive we've had of the season to really eat up about 4 minutes and 30 seconds of that 4:59. So, and Alfred was a big part of that. And there was a couple 1 or 2 yard gains in there, but he was decisive. He was getting the ball back to the line of scrimmage. He was protecting the ball. He got a big first down on the carry to keep the clock running, make the Giants use their timeout. So I did like his decisiveness in the hole, and his ball security has, again, been outstanding, and he was able to carry some tacklers and get the tough extra yard or two, which was good to see.
Jay, do you think Carrier can play on Monday? And if not, how does that change some of the personnel packages that you guys have on offense?
Yeah, it'll be a challenge. We'll wait and see. He's questionable right now. He hasn't taken any reps today or yesterday, and he's still pretty sore. But we have Ham. He's on our roster right now, so he'd have to replace him if Carrier can't go, and we'll have to make do with Ham. And he's done a good job out here in practice.
Team had a conference call today. Just wondering what you guys, the team today, conference call with the league, what was kind of the subject of that, and what did you guys take away from that?
The meeting?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even know. That was NFLPA related, I believe. Yeah, I wasn't in there.
Okay.
All right, thank you.